Hey guys, thank you for coming to my channel. In this video, I'll be talking about the difference between active voice and passive voice. Also, thank you for your patience as it took days to do the outline for this video. So for starters, what does voice mean in grammatical terms? Voice refers to the form of the verb that shows whether the subject is the one doing the action or receiving the action, which is also known as an object. So what is active voice? The subject performs the action of the verb. Active voice is used when a person wants to be direct or easily get their point across. So just to elaborate on what it means for the subject to perform the action of the verb, if I said I am going to the store, that means I am the subject because I'm the one performing the action. The action is going. And if I said we are eating dinner, we would be the subject because we are doing the eating. We are the ones doing the action, which is eating. Example 3 says they performed last night. They are the subject because they are the ones performing the action. The action is performed. So back to the subject of the verb, that will make they the subject of the verb performed. So there's a few things that we need to know before we can form active voice and passive voice sentences. We need to know the difference between subjects and objects. We need to know about the to be verbs, which I'll be discussing all of this in this video, by the way. And we need to know the tenses, past tense, future tense, current tense, and perfect tense. I'll discuss those as well. But in order to turn an active voice sentence into a passive voice sentence, we need to know all of that. When I first started learning about all of this, my head was spinning because I didn't know what the point of learning the tenses was, or the to be verbs. But then as I put everything together, like the conjugations and turning a sentence from current tense to past tense, I was like, oh, okay, this is why I need to know this. So how to form active voice. The subject comes before the verb and the object comes after the verb. Objects receive the action while subjects do the action. Before we look at some examples of active voice, let's make sure we understand the meaning of objects first. Examples of objects. So our first example says she is eating steak. In this sentence, steak is the object because it's receiving the action, meaning steak is being eaten. So that's what makes it the object. Our next example says he is visiting the store. In this sentence, the store is the object because it's being visited. The store is receiving the action. Our last example says they laughed at the joke. In this sentence, joke is the object because it's the recipient of the verb laugh. The joke is being laughed at, which makes it the object. Now that we know what an object is, let's form some sentences in active voice. Remember, in active voice sentences, the subject comes before the verb and the object comes after the verb. So our first example says, I am running to the store. I am the subject that comes before the verb running, and store is the object that comes after the verb running. Another way of knowing when a sentence is an active voice is just looking at the sentence and being able to tell that it's written in a simple form. It's easy for you to understand. I feel like passive voice is more tricky and it takes more effort. The second example says she is eating chips. She is the subject that comes before the verb eating, and chips is the object that comes after the verb eating. And that's what makes this sentence active voice. And example 3 will be on the next slide. So example 3 says we played soccer last night. As you can see, we are the subject that comes before the verb played, and soccer is the object that comes after the verb played. The subject comes before the verb and the object comes after the verb. And that's what makes the sentence active voice as opposed to passive voice. Next, we have passive voice. In passive voice sentences, the subject receives the action of the verb, also known as an object. Like we discussed earlier, The object receives the action. Passive voice is used when a person wants to place emphasis on the action or the recipient of the action. With sentences written in passive voice, there will always be a form of the verb to be and the main verb's past participle. For example, hug would turn to hugged, and I'll be elaborating on this as well. So I'm going to be making another video about the to be verbs, but for the sake of this video, you need to know about the to be verbs, so I'm going to give you some info about them in this video. So what are the to be verbs? Am, is, and are used in current tense to indicate a state of being. Was and were are used in the past tense to indicate a past state of being. Be, been, and being will be discussed in detail in the next slides. So be is the base form of the verb, gets conjugated based on what tense you're using. It's commonly used after to. Our first example says, I want to be a doctor. Our second example says, I have to be at work before 7 a.m. Been is the past participle, meaning the action took place in the past. Our first example says, I have been to that museum before. Our second example says, she has been my friend for 10 years. And don't forget, I'll be making a whole new video about the to be verbs. So if you want to learn more about the to be verbs in detail, just check out that video. Being is the continuous form of the verb, which means it's currently happening or will continue for a period of time. Example 1 says she is being rude, which means she's currently being rude. And example 2 says I was being harassed, which means it happened in the past, but it was an ongoing thing, and that's what makes it continuous. Now let's discuss the 4 tenses: past, present, future, and perfect. You will also need to know these tenses for when you conjugate your to be verbs to form your passive voice sentences, and I mentioned that earlier. So past tense means the action happened before now. I was, you were, he was. Present tense means the action is currently happening. I am, you are, he is. Future tense means the action will happen in the future or after now. I will be, he will be, you will be. Perfect tense means the action has been completed. I have been, you have been, she has been, he had, she will have. To write your sentences in passive voice, figure out what tense the sentence is in. For example, in the sentence, I will walk my dog, this sentence is in future tense. So we figured out what tense it's in. Next, you have to conjugate the verb to be and then add the past participle form of the verb. So after conjugating will, it turns to will be, and the past participle form of walk is walked. So if we rewrite this sentence in passive voice form, it'll say, my dog will be walked. So the active voice version says, I will walk my dog, and the passive voice version says, my dog will be walked. So example 2 in active voice says, she ate all of the candy. First, we have to find out what tense the sentence is in, and it's in past tense. So in passive voice, the sentence would say, all of the candy was eaten. So we conjugated the to be verb to was and changed ate to the past participle form of the verb, which is eaten. So for our third example, the active voice version says, he stole my car. As you can see, this is past tense. The passive voice version says, my car was stolen. So we conjugated the to be verb to was and changed stole to the past participle version of the verb, which is stolen. Also, there are some irregular verbs that you don't just add ed to in the past tense. Some of them, like eaten, are irregular. Like stole is irregular. It wouldn't say stole with a D at the end, or eat it with a D at the end. So there's just certain verbs that are irregular. So our fourth and last example says in the active voice, I am wearing pink boots. This sentence is written in current tense. In passive voice, it says the pink boots are being worn by me. So we conjugated the to be verb to are and changed wearing to the past participle version of the verb, which is worn. This is also an irregular verb. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this video informative. If you did find this video informative, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or all of the above, and I'll see you next time.